there's a ton of brands out there, e-commerce brands out there that don't have the tea behind um, how to run email promotional campaigns in a way that's actually profitable, right? So I've done a lot of study on this, so I know this to be true. I'm not saying this because I'm assuming of something. So this video is basically going to help, right? It's going to be like an insightful run through of how to help a particular brand run a sale in such a way that it's tailored to their customer audience, their email audience, and it's also um yeah, leads to a lot of profitability when they sort of like do this launch and sales, right? And the strategies that you learn in this video can be extrapolated to other launches and promotions and drops that you want to do or you plan to do for your e-commerce brand. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So like there's this particular brand I've been studying, not studying per se because there's not much to study from them, but I've been stalking them. So yeah, I noticed that they have a certain pattern with which they launch their promotions and sales. Basically, what they do is they send out a sale on the launch date, right? A sale email like this. You can see the copy is kind of like chunked together, but let's just look at what the copy is saying. You can see a very big subject line using all caps text saying 20% off site wide President's Day sale, and then emojis, exclamation. Those are red flags. And then you can see them writing it down here again, and then a big chunk of text that has to be read, and then a more big chunk of text, and then products here stacked. This is not optimized for mobile, by the way, right? And a lot of this, and then the next day or a few days later, they sent a second email. Reminder 20% offside while especially sale. Same chunk of text. And there's no CTA button in the above the fold. Products stacked upon each other. This is not optimized for success at all. There isn't gonna be any wonder if these sales emails don't drive that much purchase, right? And whatever amount of purchase, say the email audience are actually big fans of the brand and they are hungry for the brand sales and promotions, whatever sales these emails actually even drive, I can assure you what I'm about to show you in this video can do 10x of that. You can see them doing it again on their pillow sale launch 20% off all pillows. Same strategy, right? Same big chunk of text, no CTA over here, stacked. Um, right. So starting from like the aesthetic of the emails, right? We can make a ton of argument of how this is not aesthetically in line with their brand. This is their website. This is a snapshot of their website. You can see their type of button here, right? Radius. There's a lot of elements in their brand that is not being showcased in their emails. It's just a little bit over the place, right? So I'm gonna turn this around and show you in the context of this brand how I would run. I'll just pick one of these sales, right? The pillow sale. How high, with the experience I have and the insights that I know, would run a pillow sale like this to drive revenues in numbers like this that I did once in for this brand. You can see this period like this, I think. Confirm. Okay, this period. So this period was the Father's Day period last year. And this is typically what happens when I run sales, right? When you run your promotional sales in a tiered way like this is typically the kind of conversions you see, right? Unlike just sending two straggly looking emails and then working in a few thousands. And this list is not even that big, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this brand is sending to a list of 100,000 people, 50,000 people, and then they just make a few thousand, 1,000, 2,000 from their sales because it is not optimized to the customer behavior, right? So I'll show you how to do that right now. Without further ado, let's dive into. It's just I didn't make it complex in any way or too fancy designs. I'm just gonna go straight into the point. And as you can see, I'm just moving from sections in Figma, right? The point of this video is to just share the knowledge I have here, right? Maybe over time we'll start working on improving the aesthetic of our video, right? Okay, so the real life strategy, right? The real actionable strategy behind an effective sales or promotions campaign strategy. Uh, Sales promotions, campaign strategy timeline, whatever that means, is as does, right? An announcement email, a launch email, a reminder email, and a final urgency email. Now, depending on your sales cycle, depending on your promotion cycle, depending on how long you want to keep the sale or promotion for live, depending on how long you want to keep it live, you can extend this by doing multiples of each section. So you can announce 2 weeks before, announce 1 week before, announce 3 days before the launch, and then launch the email, send one reminder, send two reminder. Like, you can extrapolate and extend the strategy as much as you want to fit a certain timeline of whatever promotion or sales you're sending, right? But it all comes down to this, and I'll try to explain why this works perfectly. First of all, announcement email. The reason why announcement email always work is because it is a little bit too arrogant for you to expect your list to just know that you'll be launching a sale today and then be actively ready to buy, right? It's not realistic, so to speak, right? So it's always good to announce before time. Send an announcement email to your email list. Yes, days before the launch, weeks even. Prep them, build hype around it. Even Nike, even Apple, before they launch any product, they definitely have to build hype. They usually do. So build hype around it, send an announcement email. And then secondly, you want to send a launch email. This goes without saying, everybody does this. Send it on the day of the launch, and then you want to send a reminder email. This helps, how would I put it, it gives opportunity for people that saw your launch email, try to purchase, and then they forgot. And it also gives them opportunity to come back, to get reminded. To, of course, people forget now. You need to be considerate of the audience that you have in your email list, right? So you send a reminder email, and this gives them an opportunity to continue what they left behind a few days before. And then the reminder email also targets certain people that did not see your announcement email, launch email. But when they see this is also an opportunity for them to get aware of the sales, right? So there is no oh, I did not see the email, oh, I did not see the sales. There isn't, like, you don't want to give your customers any excuse for not participating in the sales, right? So there'll be a launch email, and then there'll be a reminder email certain day about after the launch. You can do the reminder email as much as you want, depending on your sales cycle, like I mentioned earlier. And then finally, you want to send a FOMO inducing email. FOMO, if you don't know what it means fear of missing out. So you want to trigger that feeling in customers that make them feel like, oh shit, this is about to go. This is the last chance I'll ever get to get participate in this. Okay, let me. Right, you want to trigger that emotional aspect, emotional decision maker in your subscribers' head, right? And this is where you infuse urgency into the email, into the copy, and this typically happens a few hours before the launch, a few hours before the live, sorry, a few hours before the sale is closed finally, right? Don't just close the sale finally and say, oh, well, they didn't want to buy, those that wanted to buy us, but you can never be too sure. So you need to send this email also. So that's like a rundown, a way too long rundown of how this strategy works. Without further ado, let's dive right into how I would have run a all 20% off all pillows sale for e-luxury. That's the name of this brand. So this strategy is not going to be too much about the aesthetics. I'm not gonna dive too much on certain aesthetics of how the email should look, how it should pop out. No, no, no. I'm not going to dive too much into the details. I'm just going to focus on the functionality of this strategy and how it can be implemented. Right. So typically what I do and what I recommend everyone to do for the announcement email is send a text only, right? Make it personal, make it come from the founder uh, or the marketing director. Make it sound like a human being is actually behind, right? This, first of all, if it's a text only email, it stands a massive chance of landing in the primary inbox. That's one. Secondly, it breaks through the noise, right? So your announcement email has to do as much of that as possible, breaking through the noise to their focus, right? So that's the reason why I recommend doing this in a text only version, right? And for this brand, we can just read through the copy. Hi, first name. It doesn't have to be too long and too winded, right? Just short and direct. Hi, first name. If your pillow is more than 2 years old, your neck may already be telling you it's time for an upgrade. In a few days, we're dropping something soft, supportive, and sleep enhancing, and you'll be exclusively getting 20% off. Keep your eyes peeled for our emails in your inbox, right? A few things that it does. It tells them what to expect, when to expect it, right? So in this email, I said in a few days. Typically, you want to exactly say the date that this sale will be launching, right? But because this is just an hypothetical situation, as I said, in a few days, right? So you want to tell them when to expect, where to expect, keep your eyes peeled for emails, your inbox, and what to expect, right? That is essentially what this email is doing. That's an announcement email. You can send it multiple times depending on your sales cycles, but that is a typical example. And then on the launch date, you want to send the email. Typically, I'd recommend a graphical and visual email here. I'm not doing too much visuals here. Like I said earlier, I literally just used their visuals, right? But yeah, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just show you the strategy. Yeah, so announce the sale, 20% off all pillows. A very clear announcement, but the difference between what I did here and what they did here is now I added a CTA button, right? When people, you always want to optimize the above the fold, which is like the first 1000 pixels, right, of your email for easy conversions, right? Yeah, so that's basically what I did here by adding the CTA button, right? A very small logo that's not taking too much space. The announcement of the sale, the discount code itself, and the CTA button. As simple as that. And a very short copy here that resonates with the audience, the specific audience. Sleep should be effortless, so should shopping for pillows. For a limited time, save 20% on every pillow in our collection. Use code at checkout and start waking up refreshed. Shop now. Simple as that. And then you want to, of course, give them options to pick from for people that want to read more of your emails. But typically, you always want to optimize your above the fold for an easy click through. And then for the reminder emails, similar to the launch email, same announcement, new image behind, statement of the offer, the discount code, a CTA button in the first 1000 pixels, and then a sweet resonant email copy too. Not too binding, not too long, just be direct to the point, be sweet, short and sweet. Best selling by bed. So in this place, I'm spotlighting one of their best selling pillows, right? Our best selling bed jacquard pillows has over 50 5-star reviews and it's 20% off right now. I'm also infusing social proof here, right? So typically your reminder image, you want to use different angles. You want to answer FAQs, you want to show social proof, you want to use different angles, so to speak, right? And there's so many angles that you can use. So I spotlighted their best-selling pillow. I stated a social proof here, over 55,000 reviews, and I stated the offer. Simple as that. It's 20% off right now. If you've been putting off a pillow upgrade, this is your sign to get one. Simple as that. Shop now, and then display of pics. And then for the final FOMO inducing email, it's always best also to send it as a text only. In this kind of instance, the reason why we're sending it as a text only is the first of all, we want to get as much people to see this email as much as possible. One, and text only email typically trumps over design heavy emails in terms of deliverability. Two, we also sort of like we want to make it personal. We want to send it as though it is personal from, because we started on a personal note, yes. So we also want to send it as though this is personal, and this typically tends to work better than another graphical visual email, right? So and yeah, the copy here is basically based a little bit on the PAS structure, the PAS copywriting framework. Let's read it together. Hi, first name. We spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping. That's nearly 26 years on average. How many of those years have you spent sleeping on a pillow that actually supports your body? The question that induces some of thought in them. 8 hours on the wrong pillow equals 8 hours of discomfort. I'm agitating now. 8 hours on the right pillow equals energy, relief, better monies, etc. In case you missed it, and now I'm presenting the solution. In case you missed it, this is your final chance to upgrade your sleep with 20% off all our pillows. Use code pillow20 before midnight tonight. Your neck and shoulders will thank you tomorrow. So you can see the past framework play out here. State a problem, right? How many of these years have you spent that actually, right? State a potential problem, agitate that problem, that pain, and then give a solution, right? This works like magic, right? So this is, I don't know, I hopefully this brand sees this and starts implementing it for their emails going forward. Or their marketing executive is watching this. We might not know, but yeah, so if I were to launch sales for e-luxury in such a way that they drive more revenue than they are currently driving right now from their sales and promotions, this is exactly how I'll do it. This is exactly how I'll do it. No no lies whatsoever, no gatekeeping. Yeah, so and this is how I recommend, this is how I would recommend you do it for your brands also, rather than just blasting out emails like this on launch dates. There's a lot of work that's gone into, I understand there is a lot of work that's gone into preparing a sale, getting inventory ready. If you're putting a lot of work to getting inventory ready for a sale or BFCM, whatever it is you're doing, it only makes sense for the, how would I put it, the responses you get from launching that particular promotions and sales to match the amount of effort that you've put into it, right? So that's like how I see it in my head, right? So what is worth doing is worth doing well. This is how to do email campaigns, email promotions campaigns well, in such a way that it gives you uh, a nice results. So I'm starting to talk too much and I'm not quite clear on how to end this video, but yeah, you get the idea. If you want to execute a high converting email campaign promotion structure for your brand, this is how you do it. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.